Good evening, Pacechester, and welcome to the PaceFeed Rundown, your local news and entertainment recap of the night. I'm your host, Brianna Adkins. Tonight, we have a special edition episode to rehash the past events that have taken over the village of Pacechester and the lives of you, our citizens. Over the past couple of months, rumors and speculation have spiraled around our local pizza shop, the mayor, and even her aide. Tonight, we get down to the bottom of it all. Here's our first story. Over the past couple of weeks, some news has come to light over the Craig Scott investigation. After the mayor's aide was found at a car crash at Pizzetta on the night of September 26th, Scott was arrested for reckless driving. Speculation swirled about whether Scott was under the influence when this crash occurred, and on our poll, 50% of you stated that he was indeed under the influence. After finding out about Scott's arrest, Mayor Andrade held a press conference the next day to follow up on the incident. During the conference, Mayor Andrade stated, "It is unknown to us if he was under the influence." We didn't get much more information from her after that statement. It was later confirmed by the Pacechester Police Department that Scott had a blood alcohol content level of 0.2, which is 0.12 over the legal limit of 0.08. This led to a community of people wondering why Craig Scott was only charged with reckless driving instead of a DUI. We reached out to Mayor Andrade for a comment and received this quote. "It is unclear to us at this time why Mr. Scott was charged with reckless driving rather than a DUI. Although we never received reason for why Scott was charged with a DUI, we did receive more updates from other organizations in Pacechester, which took turns trying to take control of this issue. After the Scott incident, the Pacechester Coalition held a press conference where they explained their plan to implement in-car breathalyzers and ignition interlocks in the vehicles of the residents of Pacechester. Sean Brown, spokesperson and representative for the PCC, stated that this law has been passed in over 30 states and Pacechester should take those same precautions. While they had not had the chance to speak to the police department or the mayor's office about this plan, we still wanted to know what you thought of this idea. 67% of you stated that you would install one as soon as possible, while 33% of you stated that you didn't believe that this was needed. On October 11th, the Board of Chosen Freeholders of Mortola County proposed the ban of the sale of all alcoholic beverages, which included the village of Pacechester. The Title 20-1 referendum would include prohibiting both on and off-premises sales. We created another poll to see how you felt about this proposed ban. We had both strong and indifferent opinions, but overall 75% of you confirmed that banning the sale of alcohol would not benefit Pacechester. Despite this poll having a majority of the citizens confirming that the ban wouldn't benefit Pacechester, the Pacechester government released the results of the Titled 20-1 referendum with 52% yes votes, confirming that the ban would officially be taken into effect at midnight on October 23rd. One of our fellow reporters, Jayla Brathwaite, went out on the streets to get some opinions on this ban. Jayla?
Thank you, Brianna. We hit the streets to talk to the two residents after the ban took effect to find their opinions on the recent alcohol ban. We had the chance to talk to two residents of Pacechester, Brittany Openate and Tyler Caffrey. Here's what they had to say.
Freelance writer Brittany Openante, how do you feel about the new alcohol ban in Pacechester County?
I think it's absolute bullshit. Because, again, as I said before, alcohol is one of the stepping stones that made us able to have civilizations, because we couldn't drink the water because the water was bad. So if we didn't have alcohol, then we wouldn't have had civilizations, and we would have had no pyramids, and I wouldn't be here right now because we wouldn't have a concept of civilization. It's important to humanity.
Tyler Caffrey, carpenter in Pacechester. Can you give me your opinion on the new alcohol ban?
I don't have an opinion. I really don't care.
Although we gathered some intense opinions and a few indifferent ones, we held a poll after we went out on the streets and 100% of our viewers voted that the alcohol ban was negative. This ban wasn't only affecting our citizens, it also affected local businesses in the area. During a Q&A session with Pacechester's Chamber of Commerce, spokesperson Gary Frater stated, "We do not support it, and in fact, it is incredibly harmful and detrimental to our business because majority of income comes from alcohol." The Committee of Pacechester Liberty also stated their negative view on the ban and said it infringes on the rights of Pacechester community and will affect the economy, specifically concerning profit made by local companies. Now, PaceFeed reporter Jack Fozard has more on this issue.
Thank you, Jayla. Yes, the Scott incident started a whole chain reaction of scandals, and it didn't just stop there. On November 1st, an unopened bottle of IPA and a receipt from Pizzetta confirming the purchase of the alcoholic beverage was found in possession of Jenna Clark, the woman who was with Scott the night of the incident. The receipt confirmed that the beer was purchased the same night of the car crash, September 26th. PaceFeed went back to earlier documents and found that Jenna Clark was not of legal age when she purchased the drink. After this news was released, Mayor Andrade finally released a statement regarding Scott's place on her team, announcing in a release that Scott was no longer her personal aide. The results of a poll following the incident where Scott was finally let go showed that 57% of you believed that the mayor's relationship with Craig Scott affected her decision on removing him from her team. Andrade's team then reached out to PaceFeed for an interview. Take a look.
What is Craig Scott's relationship with the mayor?
So Craig Scott was now the previous assistant to the mayor. They were family friends before, but now that relationship has been terminated due to the instances that occurred over a month ago.
Okay. So why did Mayor Andrade fire Craig Scott so late after the report stated that he had a BAC that was over the legal limit?
So we didn't want to just fire him for one illegal action. We don't believe that that is the proper way to terminate someone. You can't just fire them because of one incident. You have to have multiple reasons. That way they don't have a reason to sue you for improper termination. But now that new information has come to light today about there being a underage individual in the car with an open canister of alcohol, which is against the law, we felt that it was right to proceed with the termination of his position on our team.
A few weeks after speaking with the mayor's communications director, Mayor Andrade released a statement announcing her resignation, though she then went on to announce that she would be running for state senate. We put up a poll to gauge public opinion on this turn of events, and 100% of voters felt that this resignation was for the best. To bring us forward, we take you back to Brianna.
Thank you, Jack. After this whole whirlwind with Craig Scott, citizens still felt like information was left out. We still never found out why Scott was wrongly charged with reckless driving instead of a DUI. Citizens and organizations felt like Mayor Andrade didn't fully disclose why she didn't remove Scott from her office until a minor was caught with alcohol in the same car as him. There were many scandals and rumors in this story, and PaceFeed will continue to follow up with Scott's arrest in order to get down to the bottom of this. We will update you as more information comes to light. Next up, Jayla Brathwaite gives the scoop on the Committee for Pacechester Liberty scandal.
Good evening. You heard this straight from PaceFeed first, and it was definitely surprising news. When PaceFeed was notified early this fall that the Liberty organization was involved with illegal activity regarding the alcohol ban, we dug right on in to find the information. On November 1st, PaceFeed was fed information from the spokesperson from the Pacechester Police stating that a member of the committee for Pacechester Liberty was distributing alcohol during the Title 20-1 alcohol ban. PaceFeed reporter Brianna Adkins later interviewed Kishana Dupuy, Assistant Director of Communications and Marketing, to get some answers. Dupuy stated, "We have started an internal investigation to see if the allegations are true. We will see who they are and see if they are associated with our team. We will handle it. We are against the alcohol ban, but we won't partake in any illegal activities." The organization later confirmed that they were investigating the possible member of their team engaging in illegal activity. On November 8th, information was confirmed that a member of the TCPL team, Juliana Schuyler, colluded with Deputy Sheriff Chris Knockett to distribute alcohol illegally in Pacechester. Knockett was found to be brewing the beer at his home in his bathtub. This unhealthy way of distributing and brewing an alcohol beverage brought up words of concern from citizens. PaceFeed reporter Jack Fozard had the opportunity to sit down with Knockett to talk about the recent stances on the Title 20-1 ban. Here's what happened.
Is it true that you colluded with Juliana to illegally distribute alcohol at Pacechester?
Yes.
Yes. Why?
Because we feel that even though Pacechester passed the legislation banning alcohol, they're completely ignoring the fact that there is no such law within the rest of the United States. We felt it was a violation of the Constitution, and we wanted people to be able to enjoy and exercise their civic liberties.
What do you think about other organizations? Should they take a similar stance? Do you think that that's the right approach, or
What's the right approach?
Do you think the right approach is encouraging other organizations to take this stance and trying to raise a public outcry, or go through the legal process of repealing it?
I think that The legal channels can move very slowly, and a healthy amount of civil disobedience is a good way to get people in high positions to notice when the public is not happy with something. So, I mean, clearly the citizens of Pacechester were not all on board with this if they were still seeking out the product that was banned.
Later, the Pacechester Coalition held a press conference to discuss more developments with the Chris Knockett case, due to the fact that Knockett was a board member of the coalition. Sean Brown, spokesperson for the PCC, spoke out about how the organization came to the decision to suspend Knockett indefinitely in order to follow the law. "We must be law-abiding citizens," stated Brown. "It is with great sadness that Knockett made these decisions, especially with the role that he plays in Pacechester. The PCC was saddened by the loss of a board member, but the decision to follow the law was one that bettered the community." Back to you, Brianna.
Thank you, Jayla. Lastly, we have a story brought to you by Jack Fozard regarding the Pizzetta workers who threatened to strike.
Thank you, Brianna. Earlier this fall, on October 18th, workers from local favorite pizza shop Pizzetta threatened to strike to increase their wages. Workers demanded an increase of pay from their rate of $10 an hour to $15 an hour, though they did not ask for additional benefits. Pizzetta held a press conference later that day to explain that the workers were not going on strike just yet. Instead, Pizzetta executives had begun negotiations with their workers to meet the requested demands. With Pizzetta having a role in the Scott case and subsequently plenty on their plate already, they just couldn't afford to have their workers start another scandal. I had the opportunity to sit down with employee Dan Satardi to talk about his own personal experience negotiating for an hourly wage. We have that interview here.
What is your position at Pizzetta?
I am assistant to the head chef.
Okay. So I just want to ask you a few questions. So did you get your individual email saying that Pizzetta was going to give you a raise?
Yes, I did. And I'm very happy that Pizzetta and I were able to reach an agreement regarding my wage and being able to bring it to a living wage. I love that I'm able to have a relationship with my higher-ups that are able to discuss this with me.
Satardi showed that Pizzetta was willing to sit down at the table, and it helped bolster the public image of the company. The threat of worker strike diminished after Pizzetta worked privately with their employees to satisfy their financial needs and quell unrest. To wrap it up, we send you back to Brianna.
Thank you, Jack. Well, that's all we have here for the fall recap of the PaceFeed Rundown. Visit us next week to learn about the mysteries behind the Craig Scott case and Mayor Andrade. Until next time, from all of us here at PaceFeed, thank you and have a great night.